right, let me be honest with you. You're watching this because you're stuck in this weird limbo where you want to do everything, but you're doing basically nothing. And I don't mean you're lazy, I mean you're busy as hell, but at the end of the week, you look back and think, what did I actually accomplish? You started learning that language, you went to the gym twice, you read half a chapter of that book, you researched gear for that project you haven't started, and now it's Sunday night and you're lying in bed feeling like a failure because you're not where you thought you'd be. Here's what's really messing with you. You've got all these different versions of yourself fighting for attention. There's gym you who wants to feel strong, career you who wants the promotion, creative you who wants to make something, social you who misses your friends, and they're all screaming at once while you're standing there thinking, I don't know which one to listen to. So you end up watching productivity videos at 2 a.m., yeah, I see the irony, hoping someone hands you the magic formula. I'm not going to lie to you and say there's a hack that makes it easy, but I am going to tell you what actually works when you're a real person with a real life and not unlimited time or energy. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. You can have everything you want, just not all at the same time. Once you accept that, everything changes. This is what I call productive paralysis. You want to do so much that you end up doing nothing, because starting feels overwhelming, so you just don't. I lived like this for 2 years. I had a whole list: learn video editing, get serious about fitness, build real skills. And every day I'd come home, tell myself I was too tired, and watch something random until I fell asleep. The crazy part was, I had the time. I was just bad at managing it. You get pulled in 15 directions and end up making inches of progress instead of miles. Here's something that's going to sound harsh, but it's true. Most of what's on your list is stuff you don't actually need to do right now. You think you want to learn piano, but what you actually want is to already know how to play piano. You want the result without the process, and that's not going to work. Angela Duckworth wrote a whole book about this. She found the people who actually stick with things aren't necessarily more talented. They're the ones who genuinely enjoy the struggle. They like practicing. They like the process. So before you even think about time management, figure out what you actually want to do. Not what sounds cool on paper, not what would impress people. What you want when nobody's watching. For me, it's making things. I don't love every single hour of it. It takes real effort, but I'm pulled toward it. I think about it even when I'm not doing it. That's how I know it's real versus something like learning to code, which I thought I should do because everyone said it was useful. But every time I sat down, I felt like I was forcing myself. That's not a time management problem. That's a desire problem. So grab your phone right now, open Notes, and list everything you think you should be doing. Cross off anything that's a should and not a want. Be ruthless. What's left is your real list, and I bet it's shorter than you thought. Now that you know what you actually want, let's talk about making it happen. Most productivity advice tells you to do more, wake up earlier, optimize every minute, squeeze more into your day. That's exhausting, and it doesn't work long term. Instead, do less, but do it consistently. Here's how. The 90-day sprint. Pick one major thing to focus on for the next 90 days. 1. I know you're thinking this video is about making time for everything. Yeah, and you will over time, not all at once. Would you rather make decent progress on one thing in 3 months, or basically no progress on 10 things? Because that's your actual choice. Okay. You've picked your one focus for the next 90 days. Now what? Build the 2-hour block. You need to find 2 hours in your day. I don't have 2 hours. Yes, you do. You just don't realize where they're going. Check your screen time right now. I'll wait. See? You probably spent 3 to 5 hours today on your phone. I'm not judging. I do it too. But let's be honest about where the time is going. You don't need to quit social media, but what if you cut it from 3 hours to 1 hour? Boom, there's your 2 hours. Maybe it's 1 hour in the morning before work and 1 hour at night. I don't care when, just lock it in. And here's the key. Schedule it like it's a meeting you can't miss, because it is. It's a meeting with the future version of yourself who actually did the thing. The evening planning ritual. Every night before bed, spend 5 minutes planning tomorrow. Not just what you're going to do, but when and where. Tomorrow I'm going to work on my side project. Won't happen. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. after dinner, I'm going to my desk to work on my project for 1 hour might actually happen. Your brain needs specifics. Vague intentions die the moment something else comes up. The two-list system. This one's from Warren Buffett, and it's brilliant. List your top 25 goals, everything you want to do or achieve. Really think about it. Now circle your top 5, the ones that actually matter most. The other 20 aren't your get-to-later list. Those are your avoid-at-all-costs list, because they're what will distract you from what actually matters. Sounds extreme, but think about how many times you've worked on goal number 17 instead of goal number 1 because it was easier or more fun in the moment. That's why you're stuck. Let me tell you about the invisible things killing your progress. Context switching. You're working on something, then you check a text, then you're back to work, then email, then back to work. That's not multitasking. That's attention shredding. Research suggests it can take upward of 20 minutes to fully refocus after a distraction. So if you're interrupting yourself every 10 minutes, you're never actually reaching deep focus. Put your phone in another room, close every tab except what you need, and tell people you're unavailable for the next 2 hours, and be genuinely unreachable. The myth of balance. Everyone talks about work-life balance like you're supposed to give equal energy to everything every day. That's impossible. And it's why you're stressed. Some days work gets 80% of your energy. Some days your relationships do. Some days you just need to rest. That's not failure. That's being human. Instead of balance, think in seasons. This is your fitness season. Next might be your career season. Then your creative season. They can overlap a little, but one gets the spotlight. Perfectionism disguised as planning. You spend hours building the perfect schedule, color-coding your calendar, finding the perfect app, and then never actually do the work because you're too busy optimizing the system. I know because I did this. I had journals and boards and different apps and made zero actual progress until I realized I was using planning as procrastination. Your system doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be functional. A basic calendar and a notes app is enough. Stop planning and start doing. Look, I'm going to be straight with you on something. The reason you're not making progress isn't because you don't know what to do. You've watched enough videos, you've read enough articles, you know exactly what you need to do. The problem is you're waiting. Waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until you feel motivated, waiting until life calms down. Here's the thing about waiting for the right time. It never comes. Life's always going to be messy. You're always going to be a little tired. There's always going to be something going on. The people who actually achieve their goals don't wait for motivation. They start before they're ready. They do it even when they don't feel like it because they understand that action creates motivation, not the other way around. You think people who work out always feel like going to the gym? No, they just go anyway. Discipline isn't about feeling like doing it. It's about doing it especially when you don't. Here's how to actually turn this into reality instead of just another video you watched and forgot. Start stupidly small. Don't say, I'm going to work on my project for 2 hours every day starting tomorrow. That's how you fail by Wednesday. Say, I'm going to work on my project for 10 minutes tomorrow. That's it. 10 minutes. You can do anything for 10 minutes. And what usually happens is you do the 10 minutes, you get into it, and you keep going. But even if you don't, you still showed up. And that's what builds the habit. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits, the 2-minute rule. Make it so easy you can't say no. Once the habit's established, then you expand it. Track one thing. Don't track everything. Don't make a spreadsheet of your entire life. Just track whether you did your main thing today, yes or no. Sounds simple, but seeing that visual streak makes you not want to break it. Find your people. You know what makes this 100 times easier? Having someone else doing it with you. Find one person who's also trying to improve their life. Text them every morning what you're going to do. Text them every night whether you did it. That's it. Accountability isn't about judgment. It's about not being alone in the struggle. Trying to change your life by yourself is hard. Doing it with someone else is way more doable. Here's what's going to happen when you actually start doing this. Week 1, you're going to feel motivated. You're going to crush it. You're going to think, finally, this is it. Week 2 or 3, it's going to get hard. You're going to miss a day. You're going to feel tired. You're going to want to quit. That's the moment. That's the moment that determines everything. Because everyone gets to week 2.
The people who actually change their lives are the ones who keep going when it's not fun anymore. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And look, a year from now, you're going to be somewhere. The question is where? You can be in the exact same place you are right now, still watching videos about productivity, still feeling stuck, or you can be someone who actually did the thing. Not all the things, just the one thing that mattered most, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. That's how you make time for everything. Not all at once, one thing at a time with full focus until it becomes part of who you are. So, here's your homework, and actually do it. Don't just nod along and close the video. Tonight, before bed, write down your top 25 goals. Circle the 5 that actually matter. Pick one for the next 90 days. Schedule when you're working on it tomorrow. Put your phone in another